Hey everyone, welcome back. I apologize for the delay in filming. I was having some computer issues and we had to get that taken care of, and now that that is taken care of, I am back to filming and back to editing, and hopefully we'll be back on my schedule getting you guys some more videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel is all about reselling, tips, tricks, and working from home because I am a work from home mommy of two beautiful babies. And today's video, I'm actually going to talk to you about what to do when you get some unusual return requests when you're selling online. And so there's obviously so many different ways that you can get unusual return requests, demands, scams, that type of thing. But I'm going to talk to you guys about two unusual ones that happened to me and how I handled them. So the very first one that I had was on eBay, and when I say unusual returns, I mean like the typical, there's somebody who just doesn't like an item, it doesn't fit them, or maybe I did something wrong and they put through a return request. It's simple, it's easy, I approve it, they send it back, they get their money back, and that's the end of that. That's what I'm talking about as a usual one. And so this video is going to be about ones that maybe don't fall in that category. They're not easy. Maybe the customer is trying to scam you or something along those lines, because that does happen a lot, especially on eBay. So this very first item, it was actually this here. These are clearly fish filter cartridges. If you remember, I talked about them, I think, in a what sold video. So this transaction, I paid 25 cents for this item, and I believe I accepted a best offer of $10 plus free shipping on this item. And so I sent it out like normal when it came through, and it was a woman who bought it, and she got the item, and then the night that she got the item, she sent me a message on eBay, and it said something along the lines of, "I am so sorry, I'm so mad at myself, I purchased the wrong size, these are too small for my fish tank, please let me know what I can do, because I don't have a use for this item." And before I could even message her back, she had opened a return request. And I figured it's just a $10 item, there's no use trying to fight it or anything like that. I do offer returns on my listings on eBay just as long as the buyer pays the return shipping. So I figured, okay, I went ahead and I accepted the return. I never messaged her back because she opened the case literally right after she messaged me. So I approved the request right away, and I waited. I waited for her to return the item back to me, and it was never alerting me that she had shipped it or anything like that. And then a few days later, I get like 3 back-to-back emails from eBay, and the first one said that the case was closed automatically because the woman had opened a chargeback on her credit card. And what that means is she told her credit card company that the sale was unauthorized or something along those lines, and that she didn't make the charge. And so on eBay, what that happens is they hold your money again, which if somebody files a return, your funds are automatically held until it's figured out. So she filed a charge back, and I had the option to dispute it. And the option to dispute it doesn't let you type in your side of the story. You only get to submit one image. And I had noticed that she had already left me positive feedback on the sale, and in the positive feedback, she said, the item is good, it's in good condition, but I as in her, purchased the wrong size. So she left me positive feedback admitting that it was her fault, and she had the messages that she sent to me through eBay admitting that it was her fault. So clearly that proves that she did indeed pay for this item. She got the item. She couldn't say that she didn't get the item and that type of thing. But I think her chargeback said that the item wasn't as described. So my dispute said that I had to prove that the item was as described. So what I ended up doing was I submitted a screenshot of her message to me initially admitting that she had bought the wrong size. That was my evidence that I submitted. And also, when I looked at the tracking of the item, just to cover all my bases, the tracking on the item said that the item was refused. That was the part that got it a little weird and wonky and unusual, because it said the item was refused 4 days after it was delivered to her house. So that told me that she had opened it and then tried taking it back to the post office saying that it was refused, which is a form of mail fraud, actually, because that was her scurrying, having to pay the return shipping. So she opened the credit card chargeback, and if a buyer opens a chargeback on you on eBay and it is found to be in their favor, eBay automatically charges you as the seller a $20 chargeback fee. And I wasn't about to get hit with that fee for something that I didn't do wrong, something that she openly admitted multiple times was her fault. So I did everything I could. A friend of mine who is experienced in selling online on eBay and has had this issues several times, she recommended that I message the woman. And so I did the very next morning after I submitted my evidence. I messaged her and I just, it was real civil, real nice. I said, please let me know what I did wrong. I approved your return request, and now I'm really unsure why you have charged this chargeback to your credit card, saying that, it was something that I did when clearly it was not anything that I did. What can I do to fix this? I also did let her know, because not everybody does know. I said, because of your chargeback, if they find it in, that if they say that I did something wrong, I'm going to have to owe eBay $20 on a $10 thing. Plus, she still had the package. So she messaged me back right away, and she said that it was an accident. She was going to try and fix it or something along those lines. And then probably within an hour or two, I got notification from eBay that the case was closed in my favor, and I did not have to refund her. So that I got lucky in that regard, that she called the credit card company and canceled it. But at the same time, that kind of hurt her, because I'm fairly positive that on eBay, if you open a return case and it's not an INAD, which is an item not as described, you can no longer turn around and open a case again. Like, if a case has been closed on that particular item, you cannot go back and open a case again. And because her credit card company chargeback automatically canceled the initial return request that I had approved, she couldn't go in and put it in again. And so I had no idea she had actually shipped the item back to me, because she never said she did. Tracking was never updated. All it said was refused. So lo and behold, a couple days later, the item shows up in my mailbox in the original packaging that I had sent it in, and it was written on it refused, but you could tell that she had opened it and she just retaped it back up days later. So yes, that is mail fraud. And I could have kept it because there was nothing she could have done on her end, but I did end up doing the right thing. I did go ahead and refund her anyway, but in the refund notes, I did let her know, in case she didn't know, in a nice way, that, USPS policy is you cannot refuse the item once it's already been opened, and they could charge you fines for that. So next time something like this happens, please make sure that you pay the return shipping to your buyer, seller, whatever. So that was, in that instance, what I did and how I handled it and the outcome of that. So $10 fish filters, I ended up getting them back. They were unused or anything like that, so I have not relisted them yet. I need to. So that is that item. Now, the next situation did not happen on eBay. This one actually happened on Mercari. And Mercari's return policy is very, very different from eBay's. And so if you're unfamiliar with Mercari, the way their system works is after the buyer receives the item, they have up to 3 days to rate that item, say whether or not, yes, they received it, and give them a rating. And then after that rating is submitted, you cannot return it. You cannot submit for a return request or anything like that. So what had happened in this situation, there was a makeup item I had. It was like a foundation or something along those lines. This one was actually purchased by a man, and the order came in, and my Mercari app was acting up. It was not alerting me that I was getting sales. So by the time I went in and went into a bunch of different things, and it finally showed me in 3 back screens that I had this order sitting there, and I had shipped out orders after that order came in, but it still never told me that that order was there. It was so weird. So I had realized I had this order come in. I messaged the buyer. It was only maybe, it was past the shipping time, but not by much. So I messaged him. I let him know, I am so sorry. My app did not alert me that I had a sale. I am getting this out to you first thing in the morning, and I apologize a whole bunch. I felt terrible. He messaged me back, and he was like, it's okay, I understand, it's cool. Great. So I send the item out, and then a few days later, I was sleeping. It was 11:30, I think, and my phone starts blowing up. And so I look at my phone, and I'm like, who's blowing my phone up? And it's a bunch of messages from Mercari from this buyer, and his item had come in that day, and his messages to me were the first one said, my item did not come, I want my money back. And before I could even reply, 2 minutes later, I just don't have a use for this item, I want my money back now. So I immediately go into the tracking, because I can't tell if it's the item didn't come like he initially said, or if the item did come and it was damaged or something. So I look at the tracking to see what the tracking says, and the tracking said that it was actually picked up at the post office by him. It wasn't dropped off at his house or anything like that. It was picked up at the post office. So that's a little harder on his end to argue that it never came if it was picked up. So if it's not in a P.O. box, I'm fairly positive you need an ID to pick up an item that the post office is holding for you because it was undeliverable for whatever reason or that type of thing. So I message him back and I say, I need a little bit more information before I initiate a refund. Can you tell me what happened? I said, was the item just damaged in shipping? Is there something wrong with it? Because tracking said that you had picked it up at the post office. And he was being very crazy, messaging me back, and all he kept saying was over and over and over again, I don't want this item, I don't have a use for it, I don't have it, somebody else picked it up, somebody stole my item and I want you to give me my money back now. Over and over again, he just kept saying, I want my money back, I want my money back now, demanding that I give him his money back, that somebody stole it, it wasn't him, and how long is it going to take for a refund. So I tried to calm him down. I let him know, if somebody stole your item, please reach out to the post office, please reach out to your local police. I said, I'm not just going to issue a refund because you're demanding that I do. I said, you don't have the item, I don't have the item, but this is neither of our faults. So I did let him know. I said I will reach out to Mercari first thing in the morning, and I will see what they recommend us do. And then he said, okay, thank you. This is just a very scary situation. So now he was on the East Coast, the East Coast. So they're an hour ahead, and so it had to have been 1 a.m. his time, and I thought that was a little kind of crazy too, because he had, shown that he had picked the item up earlier in the day. So why is he just now messaging me to you? You never understand what people are doing. So he said, okay, that's fine. Thanks for letting me know. He calmed down a little bit, so it seemed. So the next day I reached out to Mercari support, and they messaged me back, and they said, because tracking is showing that he has the item, you've done everything on your end, you know, just wait the 3 days, because after 3 days, if they don't rate you, you get auto-rated and your funds are automatically released. So basically, Mercari just told me, wait, you don't have to do anything. And then I kind of thought, well, what if he rates me before then? Just a thought that I had. And that ended up happening. So I didn't message him back because I wasn't sure, you know, why he seemed so crazy that night. And I was just going to see if he said anything back and just kind of wait, like Mercari said. Well, the very next night, so it was, I think it was like 9 o'clock the next night, he had rated me. And on Mercari, you have to rate somebody back. Like, once they rate you as a buyer, you rate them as a, or if they rate you as a seller, then you rate them as a buyer, and then you get your money back, your money released. Well, you can't see what they rate you before you rate them. So it said that he had rated me and I needed to rate him to receive my funds. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't know if he rated me badly or not. It was obviously not a very good experience for me, but at the same time, I had to remember that in the beginning, I was past my delivery time because of it not telling me I had to sale. So he was understanding of that matter. So I didn't want to necessarily rate him badly, have him rate me good. So I ended up rating him, and you know, I don't even, it was glitching when I was rating him back. So I was gonna rate him a 4, and then I think it auto rated him a 5. Like, I don't know, it was really weird. And it rated, like, it submitted the rating before I wanted it to, so I really don't know what it put. But I know that it was like a high rating that I ended up rating him. And then I kicked myself for it because obviously he rated me bad. He gave me 2 stars with absolutely no description or anything like that, just 2 stars. And I just kind of shrugged it off and laughed and said, okay, oh well. I don't sell a lot on Mercari, so his rating, it didn't really do much to me. He didn't like say anything bad or anything like that. So I also feel that if anybody is looking at my ratings, they'll see all of my other ratings are all 5 stars, and then his random 2-star rating with absolutely no reason why he rated me 2 stars. So I'm not worried that it's going to have a detrimental effect to my selling on Mercari or anything like that, because again, I don't get many sales on Mercari anyway. But that is how I handled that situation. I tried to de-escalate him. I was very professional about it, even though he was acting all sorts of crazy. But I ended up getting my money. I'm fairly positive he has the item. And that is how I dealt with that. So if you guys have any horror stories or anything like that of situations that have happened with you when you're reselling on your online platforms, put them in the comments. I'm curious to see what kind of stories you have, or if you have positive stories where somebody, you know, they were honest and they were good and they shipped the item back or something like that. I'm super curious to know. Also, maybe put in the comments how you would have reacted in a situation where somebody's blowing your phone up in the middle of the night demanding that you send them money back for an item that they have. So it's sometimes hard to remain a little calm, but in the end it'll all work itself out. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm and let YouTube know that you guys like this type of material. And if you are new here, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I will see you next time. Bye.